in my work and in my life, I really get the pleasure to be able to connect with loads of people every day and every week and every month. And anybody that's had a conversation with me knows that one of the things I love to talk about is flow. It's the flow state. It's this state where we at once, we perform our best and we feel our best at the same time, right? Which is amazing. And it got me thinking last night about what's the point of that? I mean, if I can perform at my absolute best and produce amazing results, that's great. And I can feel really, really good while I'm doing it, well, that's great. But what's the, ultimately, what's the purpose of that? What's the end result of that? What's the outcome of that? And it really got me questioning my purpose in my life. And, it's a very common theme that comes up in a lot of the conversations I have. What's the point of all of this, right? So I wanted to shoot a quick video on that and really look at, because of course purpose isn't going to be the same for everybody. It's going to be different for everybody. And I think, what I realized last night in my meditation was that what makes our purposes different and individual is the gifts that we've been given. It's the genius, it's the innate talents, it's what we arrive with, it's what we're born with, and that's a huge part of who we are. And the journey through life is either how we express those gifts or how we, don't express them, or how we develop them. And, many of our gifts will be totally developed and many of them will be underdeveloped, right? Some will accept and will actually receive the gift, and some will reject and will say, I don't want that gift, right? Some will acknowledge and some will deny. So the whole thing here is to understand that with all the gifts that we've been given, and I'm going to take you through an exercise really soon that I've just done with myself to really kind of get clarity on this whole thing. I think it's going to be massively valuable. But just to frame that up, I guess the whole point here is that the gifts that we develop, that we accept, that we acknowledge, are ones that we get pleasure from fulfilling those gifts, and we've got some joy around it and some excitement around it. And of course, the gifts that we deny or that we reject or that we haven't fully developed, the only reason we do that is fear. And it's our fear that holds us back, and we go, I'm not going to grab hold of this gift that I've been given and unwrap it and explore it and play with it, because we can have all the kind of stories in the world around it and say it's not a priority, or I've got other things to do, or I'll do it later, or whatever. At the end of the day, if we're really honest with ourselves, it's because I'm scared of who I would become if I actually grab hold of that gift. So we're going to have a go at this and see if we can kind of explore this whole thing. So the first step in the process to really understanding this is just to understand what your gifts are. It's to list them out, and there's going to be gifts in all sorts of areas of your life, and like I say, some will be more developed than others, some will be accepted and received more than others, but just list them all out. And I'm going to go through the whole process. There's 5 steps. The first one's listing out your gifts and talents, and then I'm going to give you some examples of what came up for me when I actually did this. So it'll give you a frame of reference and some examples, so you can go, all right, that kind of makes sense. I see what he's talking about now. Very often we've got use the same words can have different meanings. So if I give you some examples, hopefully that'll be helpful. All right, so that's the first thing. And if you'd like the template that I've used, I've developed a little cheat sheet on this one. Just shoot me a quick email. It's patrick@patrickwoodcraft.com, and I will email you back with the template that I've used. And if you'd like to have a look at my lists, then put that in the comments as well, and I will do that for you. Okay. So the first thing, list out all your gifts and talents, and just be really transparent with yourself, be honest with yourself, and go, these are the gifts that I've been given. This is what God's given me, what nature, what the universe has given me, and the things that I'm naturally good at in all the different areas of my life, right? And they're talents, they're abilities, they're things that bring me joy or excitement or a little bit of nervous excitement sometimes, right? But they're the things that you can just naturally seem to do quite well. Okay, get that? The second step in the process is to consider how you've used and developed those gifts. So you've got this big list of gifts now, and you're saying to yourself, well, what have I done with that? How have I developed that? How have I expressed that? How have I used that in my life? And list out the specific roles and activities that you've taken on. And it's either the things that you just love to do, or the things that you do really well, or the things that maybe scare you a little bit and you'd like to try more often, or you think could be really fun or exciting, or you've always thought, oh, I'd love to do that, and maybe you've had a little go at it and you've kind of stepped back, or maybe there's been a scary experience and you haven't fully gone into it. But look at all the different things that you've done over your life and in the time that you've been in this body, on this planet, and yeah, just explore that. So then list them all out. So we've got all your gifts here, and then how you've expressed all those gifts there. And like I said, I can give you a template and I'll give you some examples from my life soon. The third step is to consider, and this is where it starts to get a bit deep and a bit serious. And if we go, because we're considering our purpose, right? We're using our gifts as a clue to get to our true purpose. So if I said to myself, if God had an important mission for humanity on the planet in my lifetime, and if the gifts that were required for the successful completion of that precise mission were the exact gifts that I've been given, that I've identified, that I've received, that I have, what would that mission be? Right? So if God's got this important mission, and there's a set of gifts that would be required to successfully complete that mission, and I have those gifts, what would that mission be? You understand the question? So spend some time with that, meditate that, think about that, and just go, what could it be? And again, I'll give you some examples shortly. The fourth step is now to consider if that mission was to be successfully completed. Yay, right? I fulfilled my purpose. What's the outcome for humanity? What's the outcome for the planet? What's the outcome for people, for nature, for animals? What effect will that have by this mission being successfully completed? And I want to consider the other side of the coin too. If this mission never gets completed, if it's a failure or it's only partially completed and it's not actually a successful mission, what would be the outcomes for humanity in that case, where I don't actually fulfill my destiny and I don't actually, live on purpose and really do this? And just list it out. Let's go, right, the mission's a success. What's the outcome? Not for me, but for the people I love, for my community, for my nation, for humanity. And if the mission's a failure, what will be the outcome in all those stages as well? Cool, so that's step 4. Step 5 is now this is where the rubber hits the road. Now you get to make some choices and say, if this is the mission, then how am I going to show up? What am I going to do about that? So and specifically the question is, what are the new actions or outcomes that I actually choose now in my daily life, right? So if it was to sound like, I make the choice of producing the end result of this, right? So this is how I'm going to show up. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to be and who I'm going to be from now on, based on my understanding of this process that we've just been through and what that means to me. Got it? So 5 steps, really cool. And let me give you some examples from my own life, just so you've got a little bit of insight, but also you can go, okay, I kind of get the things that he's talking about now, and you can fill it out with yours. Again, if you'd like the template, happy to shoot that through, zap me an email, and I'd love to hear your examples and your gifts and your purpose as well. It would be really cool. So feel free to pop it in the comments, or if you'd like to have a private conversation around it, shoot me an email. Like I said, it's patrick@patrickwoodcraft.com. Okay.